everyone, and welcome to my Python programming tutorial. In this video, we will talk about list in Python. So a list allows the programmer to manipulate a sequence of data values of any types. So you can think of list as an array in Java, but we take a look. It's just like a series of lists of anything, and every value have an index. Okay, so it does talk about the dictionary, which will be my next video. So in this video, we will only focus on list. So let's take a look what we have. List is a sequence of data values. So we have items or elements. So it can be list of, for example, you can relate with your real life shopping list, grocery list, guest list for a wedding, a recipe, even for a recipe when you're writing some steps, you know, like the ingredients, anything you're writing in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they are all lists. So text document which is a list of lines. So anything can come into this category of list, and in list, every item you add or anything you add known as item or elements, and they are associated with the indexes. Each item in a list has a unique index and specifies its position from 0 to length -1. It's quite similar to strings, which you have seen. So it's just like blocks, and every list is holding an index value. As you can see, there are some examples of list. We have Apple, this is list 1, and they are represented with square brackets, just like in arrays you will see or you have seen before in any other programming language. Okay, so with square brackets, and inside, when you have strings, it will be represented with single quotation or double quotation separated by a comma. So each value is separated by a comma. So this is, if I want to say, where is apples? Apples is at index 0. This is index 1, and this is index 2. So you can have list of list, like as you can see in the second line, this is how you are represented. And anything with the square brackets over here, you can see is a list. So let's jump onto our PyCharm and see what are the different methods we can do with list. Our PyCharm, in this PyCharm, what we will do is we will create our list, and we will do some examples. We will take a look at some methods we have in our list and what are the things we can do. So Python have made some built-in method which will make your life so easier when you are working with list. So let's get started. So let me create our list first. Equals to, so whenever you are creating, as this first doesn't know that what this first is, you can think of it as variable, and in what kind of variable we have not defined yet. So when you say square bracket, now this first becomes a list. So it means this is an empty list. Now let's add some values. We can start with simple values, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like some basic. Let's see like what a basic list does. And then this is one way. So when you know the numbers, like, you know, I have to add 1, 2, 3, 4, this is not a good way. For example, I want to add 100 numbers to a list or 1,000 numbers. This is not an appropriate way of adding numbers to our list, right? So then it's programming, right? So we may have a shortcut in our programming. So let's create another. So that's our first list. Let's create our second list, which will be equals to, second list will be equals to, you can say list, and inside you will use the range method, or I will say function method. It's quite the same, used differently, but it's range. You can call it also as function. So range and parentheses, you will tell the starting point and the ending point. As you can see with PyCharm, it also giving me an option. It was giving me a hint that this range doesn't just go like this blank. You need to tell the start and the end point. Let's say my starting point is 1 and ending point is 5. So what this does is 1 is included and 5 is excluded, like inclusive and exclusive, also known as like inclusive, exclusive, included, excluded, like go in the same, works the same, means the same. It means this should print 1 to 4 and this should print 1 to 5. So let's print. If I run my code right now, you won't be able to see any output until and unless you print. So I will just write to print. Again, I don't have to write the whole thing. I will just call my first, and then I will say, hey, print my second list as well. And now let's run our code, and my method name is list practice. So this is my file name, sorry, not the method name, list practices. And let's run and see if our output works. So as you can see, this is my output. For the first line, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the second one, range, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if you want to add 100 numbers, or something like this. It will print 99 though. If you want to print 100, it will be 101. So let's run and see. Oh my God. Here you have all the numbers going, and you can scroll on the other side and see a whole list. And in future, you will be using loops and stuff like that. So there are multiple ways of printing 100 numbers, 1,000 numbers, and random numbers as well. Like if you don't want to print just directly 1 to 100 and you want to make a change, there are multiple ways. So now let's take a look at some other functions we have with list. So let's remove 100 because it's too much. Let's say 20. And then we will make some modifications. So for example, I want to ask the length of my list. I don't know how many, for example, if values are added like this, maybe I'm using a loop, which you will see in upcoming chapters or in my upcoming videos. When you are taking values from user and you don't know how big is your list and you want to know the length. Some students may ask like, why we want to know the length, as we already know, like it will be like this, or like we have defined the length in this way. But maybe there are some other conditions when you are taking input from user. You are asking user to tell me the ending value, and you have a variable over here, A, B, C, and you don't know what that A is and how big is your list. So we have a length method, just like in your string, which you have seen. So what you will do is you will say, hey, give me the length of my first string. So len, inside I will put my variable name. So now this will print, this will not print 1 2 3 4 5. This will print the number, like how big is my first list. So as you can see, it's 5, and it works the same way, 1 2 3 4 5. Same way means like this in the string you have seen, the indexes are 0, 1 2 3 4. But when it comes to the counting of the length, it counts as 1 2 3 4 5, and output is 5. You can do the length function with the second as well, and you can find out the length of your string. So another way is another thing with list you can do, like these are all the shortcuts I'm telling you right now. Another thing you can do is you have a list. You can say the starting point or ending point, first letter print. So there is another, where's my mouse? Okay, so I'm making a change to the same print function. So what I'm doing is I will say this is my first. So let's say first, I will say what I have to do is I have to update my first equals to first plus like this, run. And now you can see the output 11 and 12 are added at the end of my list. To make a modification, you can, if you are using idle or command line, you can directly write like this. But if you are using Python, you have to update your list to get the exact output. So another way is, another thing we have to do is, for example, if you want to check whether your list 1 and list 2 are equal, so there is one simple way. It will print a Boolean. So I will write my first variable equal equal. I will write my second list. So what do you think? Are they equal? My first list is this one, and my second list is this one. It's like clear, it's more clear to see. And the answer is false because they are not equal. So let's make them equal. To make them equal, I have to remove this updated line. And then from here, I will say 1 2 6. So now let's run our code and see. And the output is true that yes, both of them are equal. They're holding the same value. And this is how you can check if two of your list are equal or not. Another thing we can do is you can also use in function to check whether that value exists in your list or not. So how you can check that? You can say 0 in square bracket or first, something like this, whatever you are doing, or maybe you're just checking. So this is my list 1, let's say 0 in function, and then I'm writing first. So let's run and see. So the first is false for this first print statement, and true is for the second print statement, which was from the previous one. So in is looking for this number in my first list. So let's change 0. So there is no 0 in my list 1, as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5. Let's make it 3. You can check that whether this number exists in my list or not. You don't have to go through your list and hurt your eyes by looking at numbers. Right now you will you won't hurt your eyes because it's just like 5 numbers. Just think of 100 numbers and with like different values. Now it returns true that yes, 3 exist in your list, and this is the, you have seen range method, you have seen in, we have seen the equal equal, where you don't check single equal because that is an assignment operator when you use single equal. When you want to compare or check whether two of the things are equal or not, you use double equal sign to check whether they are equal or not with double equal sign to get an answer in true and false. Okay, so this is about some of the basic list functions or easy functions, I would say, which will make your life more easy if you just uh, put it on your fingertips that yes, do those method exist. This range is helpful. This in method is helpful. And then we have replacing an element in a list. So if you want to replace an element in a list, what you will do is, for example, as you know that all these lists have index number. You just have to call the index number and you have to say, hey, change that index to something else. So for example, I have to call my first. So first of all, you have to write your list name, square brackets, inside you will be writing your index. So for example, if I want to change this 4, so what is the index for this 4? 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I will say 3 first at index 3, change it to 11 like this. And then let's print. I will print my list. It will be first. And then let's run our code and see what we have. It says, this is my list. 1, 2, 3. As you can see, 4 is gone and it is replaced by 11. So 11 is now at index 3. So as you can see, at index 3, we had 4 before and now it's 11. The thing is with updating like this is the case where you want to remove 4 at the same time. Now we have lost 4, but what if you just want to add the value at this index, like, and you want to push rest of the things forward? So we do have those things. We do have some methods which will help you in that case. So what we have is, we have where you have like insert, I would say insert and remove elements. So let's take a look. We have an insert method. What that insert method will do is, so let's remove this line and we want to add 11 at index 3. Okay, so let's stick to that part. So if I run this code, we will have our old list back 1 2 3 4 5. So that 11 part is gone, but we want to add 11 over here somewhere after 3. So, and we know the index is 3 and we want to push 4 and 5, right? So this is what we will do. We will use the insert method. First of all, we will call our list name first, and then you will call the method insert. And now in this method, you have to first of all tell the index number and then the value. So the index number, if we recall, it was 3, comma, and our value is 11. So now you have modified your first list. So let's take a look. We are printing. Okay. Now when I run, so as you can see, 1 2 3 11 4 and 5. Now we do have 11 and 11 is pushed forward and our size of our list is increased, as you can see. So size is automatically increased. So if you ask the length of our list, it will be more. You can add anywhere, you can add any index if you are adding at the end. And so you can just add the last index, it will create a space for that automatically. Okay, and you cannot go index out of bound. Like you cannot say, for example, the list of your size is this, and you cannot say add my value at index 11 because index 11 doesn't exist. Okay, so the another thing is the append method. You can append a value, like you can add and you can make changes. You can just add the value if you just say append. My mouse. Okay, after this, I'm just constantly making changes to my first list. So just focus on our first dot append. What this append does, you are just if you don't specify the index number, for example, if you don't tell, it will automatically add the value at the end of the list. So I say append my this list first, and I'm using this method. As I'm using dot, it means I'm using a method, and then I'm telling a value to be added in this first. So let's run and see. So what this method does, if you don't specify the index, if you don't know where I want to locate, so you can just say add it to the end of my list. So as you can see, 10 is added at the end of the list. Then we have a method extend. What extend does, it means add a list to a list. So if you have a list, you have a couple of more values. For example, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I want to add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like this. And I want to add. So what I will do is I will say first dot extend is the method. As with the PyCharm, you can see it already gives you an option. Yes, there is a method if you don't know the spelling. Python is case sensitive, so everything is in lowercase letters. Don't make anything capital. If you make any of the letter capital, it will give you an error. So what this extend does, inside I will specify a list. So let's say, and it will add at the end of my first list. So let's add some values like 20 comma 30 comma 40. So as they are less, so they are separated by commas and they are within square brackets. So let's run our code and see what we have. Okay, so first, this is our basic list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what we did, we inserted 11 at index 3. So we inserted 0, 1, 2, and 3. This is our index 3, 11 is inserted. Then we said append our list with 10. So what append does, it adds 10 at the end of the list. So when we inserted 11, 4 and 5 was shifted forward. And after append 10, it added at the end of the list. After append method, we have our extend method that extend our list with another list, add this list at the end. So it added 20, 30, 40. So this is your final list right now with a couple of these values, with the modification you made, with methods you have already built in. Now, removing the elements. So let's come to the removing part. I'm removing some extra, like we are not doing anything with the second list. So I'm just removing that extra line over here. Okay, so before print, because print will be the last thing we want to see the examples, like what changes we have made. So for example, I say first dot pop, and I will do first dot pop. What this first dot pop will does, it will remove the last element from your list. So let's run and see. So as you can see, 20, 30, 40. So 40 is removed because you said pop. So if I say after printing, print first, because I just want to make show you the difference. If I say first dot pop again, and dot pop again, and then I will say print and print my list again. So I have said pop twice. So this is my first pop. After doing the first pop, I did print my list and it printed 10, 20, 30, and it removed 40. Then I said first dot pop again and it removed the second last number as well, which was 30. So if you, and then I printed my list again and there is no 30 and 40 because I did pop twice. So for example, if you want to remove this one index at 1, so what you can do is instead of removing 30 over here, I want to remove 1. So you will specify the index that popped index 0. And when you run the code, as you can see, 30 is back and 1 is gone. So we have removed, you just need to specify the index to remove with the pop. So pop is actually removing the values from your list. So this is what pop does. You can remove values with the index name, or if you just use without the index number, it will remove the last value in your list. Okay, so I'm just removing these pop methods so that we can do some more of the stuff with our list. And we do have a sort method, which is so helpful to do the sorting. As you can see right now, after making some couple of changes, and we have 11 somewhere over here, I want to sort my list. So first dot sort and then print first. So methods will work in different ways when you're doing it in idle and when you're doing it on PyCharm. As you can see, your list is now sorted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 20, 30, and 40. So you have to do first dot sort and then you're printing your first. Okay, so that's how it's easy to sort any numbers if you want to sort integers, strings. And when you're doing sorting with strings, it will sort in alphabetical order. When you're doing with numbers, it will sort in ascending order, like from smaller values to the bigger values. We have what you can do is mutable property of list. So when you say that first equals to 10, 20, 30, you created second list and you say second is equals to first, that it's the same list. So this is what happened at the back end. Both are pointing to the same list. So 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, you have both are pointing. You said second is also equals to first. So you are giving a permission to another list or another variable second to point or make changes to your list. So as you can see, when I say print first, it printed 10, 20, 30. Then I say print second, it printed 10, 20, 30, like the same way. Both are holding the same value, pointing at the same object, I would say, or the same list. Now, when I say change the index 1 to 99, as you're looking in this picture, so I made a change. First, 1 equals to 99. And then I printed first, it printed 10, 99, and 30. But when I printed second, second is also changed and it says 10, 99, and 30. So these are different as compared to simple variables. When you do a change in your variable value is changed. And when you assign the same variable to another one, they are not changed. Like if you say A equals to B and B equals to something else, A remains the same. But with the objects, it's different. As you can see, that's why I wanted to share the slide so that you can see that both are pointing at the back end to the same list. So let's take a look. So this is what you have. As you can see, there's a for loop over here. So don't get confused. It will be in your upcoming chapters. The only thing you need to understand over here is if you make a change to your list, it will change. So, but when you say append method, you are not actually saying that your third is equals to this. You are transferring the values, your elements from your first list to the other one. So basically you are creating two separate lists. So they are pointing to two separate lists and they have separate indexes and though they have same values, but when you make a change, it won't affect the other one when you use or transfer the values. So here is a clear example. First equals to 20, 30, 40. This is very important to understand. This is like, this is just to confuse you right now, but trying to make you understand the concept when you make such mistakes. So don't make these mistakes. Some students may think why we have to do this way, because these are students' mistakes, I would say, which you may make in the future and think that it will work, but it won't. So as you can see, first equals 20, 30, 40. You said second equals to first. Okay, so this is the thing. It means both are pointing at same list. First and second are pointing at the same list. But for the third one, I created another list with some values, which is quite similar to the same one, but I didn't say that this is equals to first or second. So this hold a separate authority, I would say, or separate list. As you can see in the backend memory, third is pointing to a separate list, but the values are same. So it doesn't matter if the values are same. So first equals to second. If you ask first equals to second, yes, first is equals to second. When you say first equals to third, so this equal is actually comparing the values. So are they equal? First equals to third? Yeah, they are equal. The values are equal. The answer is true. But when you say is method, which is first is second, yeah, first is second because both are pointing. If you are confused, like maybe you have like 50 lines of code and you don't know that two of these lists are pointing to the same list. So if I make a change to the second, it will affect the first one. So there is a method you can check, which is you can say first is second. It will tell you true. Yes, both are pointing to the same list. They are same. But if you say first is third, though their values are same, but it will say false because no, they are not pointing. So if you make a change in first, it will not affect this list. Hopefully the concept of this is clear, and mostly students ask like why you have to do this. These are your mistakes which is addressed that you cannot do this in the future. So, and what's the difference when you say first equals to second or second equals to first when you assign the same list to the other variable? You will, and when you make a change, it will definitely affect your list at the back end. Okay, that's it for this video with the list. For the next video, we will discuss dictionaries. Thank you. Bye-bye.